Shalom Yasharala, this your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone and taught us this truth and our will. And salutation and much love for you, I can push this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth, and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Salaki, excuse me. So I want to jump into this here lesson, pretty much which was inspired, off a couple things that was said on a live stream the other day. But nevertheless, it had me pondering upon this, and it was a great time to make a lesson about this. Us as being teachers, we scour the scriptures all day long, and we can see all these things, and we can tell how things are and how close we are to the end. All right. Let me grab something real quick. Let me read a little bit of things here first real quick. It says Matthew 24 and verse 36. But of the day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only, right? And so, a lot of people, again, are hinged off this here thing. They don't know how the Lord's coming back and everything else like that, Well, nevertheless, let me read this other couple precepts up here. It says, Salakia. 32. It says, Matthew 24 and 32. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, you know that summer is nigh. So likewise, ye, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. All right. So going into these things, diligently, basically, this is lesson is going on to, looking pretty much at a timeline, and just looking at the importance of these things and how quick and how devastation is is right there at the door. All right, because we know that there's a couple prophecies that are hinged on, certain things, and they're gonna all pretty much coincide one with another. All right, so in these scriptures, none of these are in order. It's just kind of flowing through the spirit. But let me go back over to 2 Ezra 9:1. It says, and he answered me and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I told thee before. All right, so just going back to the parable of the fig tree, all right, or to give you a more, straightforward analogy with that scenario, it's just like, somebody asks, you got your old lady pregnant. This is y'all first child. Y'all don't really know how these here things go. You're like, well, how will I know that when she's going into labor, I need to take her to the hospital? When you see that water break, get to the hospital, And so basically here in 2 Ezra 9:1, it says, measure thou the time diligently in itself, right? So it says, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, right? So same thing there. When you see this here water break, get to the hospital. She's going into labor. So same thing here. When we see these signs start to pass, we know that the end is come. However, as far as this great destruction, this great judgment that's coming to pass, we can tell you that it's right around the corner based off of just, a couple major prophecies that's coming to pass, and we see them coming to pass now. All right. It says, let me just read this just for edification's sake. Verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. And that's pretty much the point there. The Most High gave us all these signs. And when you see in these signs and these prophecies come to pass, all right, and you're able to put, line up prophecy at the, or prophecy with prophecy in certain ones that hinge on these things. Like, for instance, we know according to the scriptures, right, multiple different prophecies that have, like, let's say, for instance, us actually being delivered up out of here and being saved, right? Also, the other one about Babylon being destroyed, right? And we know that Babylon is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear warfare, all right? And we know, that's one prophecy. Now, you look at the other prophecy where it says, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, all right, we're going to be changed, we're going to be taken up, but then also hinging that onto another prophecy of, going into, the six troubles. The Lord's going to deliver us out of the sixth, but out of the seventh, we're going to be saved up out of that. So we know, You know, we're going to be going through all these different things, but in the very last plague or the very last judgment is going to be the moment where we're going to be delivered up. And so we know that last plague of that last judgment is what? The nukes. All right. So, you know, we can be able to tell you that, all right, this is what's going to happen based off of these two prophecies. All right. But nevertheless, you know, right now is pretty much a time of peace, more or less to say, in comparison to the things that's coming. Right. We're pretty much at a time of peace right now. But nevertheless, these things are brewing up. But we know that Esau is holding back right now, and he's about to come down with that swift judgment. All right. And we could tell you that based off of, again, the rest of these prophecies. All right. He's pretty much at the end of his you know, system, setting his system up, and we can, you know, measure the times diligently by looking around and seeing these things. All right. And we can tell you that, hey, salvation is closer than what we believe, because he's about to make his move. All right. It says, for like, as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, the end is manifest. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. All right. So again, based off of looking at these prophecies and the signs and the things being played out, all right, and putting prophecy with prophecy, we can tell you that, hey, man, Esau's about to come down with this here swift judgment. All right. So we know how to measure the times diligently. All right. And we know how to look at these signs. And that's how we're going to know that, you know, the end has come. Let me go over to Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth he hath but a short time. Now, how does he know he hath but a short time? All right. Because he can also measure the times diligently. All right. So he can see based off of certain things. Let me grab this precept real quick to give you an example. Ezekiel chapter 37 and verse, what is it, 10? Yeah. Ezekiel 37 and 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Right? So let me grab another precept real quick in, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5. So if you're following along, it says, you know, he knoweth he have, you know, we're measuring the times diligently in itself, but nevertheless, Esau is also measuring the time diligently in itself, and he's coming down, he's about to start coming down with great wrath. He's moving a lot faster. These prophecies are moving faster and faster and faster because he's trying to implement his new world order, and we'll grab that precept next. Once he is about to fill his belly, this is when all these things are going to start coming down. All right. Again, Salaki, I didn't put these precepts in any kind of order, but, you know, Lord will at the end of it, I'll, you know, run it all the way back through to paint the picture. Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as has afflicted him and made no account of his labors. And when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. So going back into, you know, the valley of the dry bones, right? And we started waking up to knowing who we are, going out on the highways and the byways and prophesying, right? See, I got too many precepts coming to mind real quick. Let me go over to Matthew 24 and not 8, 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. All right. So look, he's now seeing us, you know, the valley of the dry bones, right? The prophecies are going out. We're being raised up, standing in great boldness in front of his face, pushing out this here doctrine throughout the four corners of the earth. More and more of the elect are waking up. All right. So he's realizing, he's like, yo, I've had them pretty much in this dead state for so long. You know, it's just like, hey, he dead. But now all of a sudden, it's like a bear hibernating. You can walk up on a bear that's been just started hibernating or something like that. You might be able to poke the bear and everything else like that. And you know he ain't finna wake up no time soon. But then you roll up on this here bear, right? And you start seeing him tossing and turning and everything like that. You're like, oh shit, he might be about to wake up. Let me, you know, just you know, seeing that little bit of movement, you like, okay, this might be the time where he's gonna wake up. And then when he wakes up, you know, let me grab that real quick. Let me read this again. Matthew 24 and 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Right? So Revelation 14 and 1 says, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their forehead. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of great thunders. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as if it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. just slightly touching in on that breath being put back into them, and they're standing in great boldness in the face of those that afflicted them, and on the highways and the byways, and raising up more of the dead. Salakia. Actually, this wasn't even what I wanted to grab, but let's go back to Revelation 7:1. It says, "And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree." All right. Let me keep reading on down. "And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their forehead." So, going back into, some of these precepts I've brought out already, so I prophesied as I was commanded, and, basically there arose an exceedingly great army, right? That's the elect, getting that song that, we just briefly ran over it in Revelation 14 about the 144,000 singing that new song, right? So that's the breath being put back into them, that exceedingly great army of the prophets waking up. All right, we read that this gospel is going to be preaching to the 4 corners of the earth, and then the end shall come. Right here, we're reading that, look, this judgment is not going to come down because, until the elect are sealed, right? So going back to that Matthew 8, and this gospel shall be preached into the 4 corners of the earth, meaning that the elect would have to hear all these things, right? But on the flip side to that, you have Esau that's watching all these things taking place, all right? Beforehand, it might have just been one camp preaching and teaching, or one little small group of one going around the world. Then they started getting on the internet and spreading. Then you had, a couple of the main camps, like the One West camps coming out. Then you just started seeing all the One Western camps to start spreading all throughout the U.S. and in every major city. And then, you have some of them even international. All right. So now this gospel is going throughout the 4 corners of the earth. All right. So now we know that as we're reading here, that the destruction isn't going to come until the elect is being sealed, or the elect is sealed, like we just read in Matthew chapter 24, saying, and this gospel shall be preached into the 4 corners of the earth, and then the end shall come, right? So let's go back to, let me grab this real quick. In the book of Job, what is it, 14:4, I think it is? Nah. Salakia. Give me 1 second. Salakia, give me 1 second. I thought it was 14. Oh, 14:5. Job 14:5. It says, "Seeing his days are determined," all right, Esau, by doing what? Measuring the times diligently, all right, because you have to understand, let me go back. Revelation chapter 11 and 11. "And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them." All right, going back to the valley of the dry bones. All right, and this gospel being preached to the 4 corners of the earth. All right, and the Lamb gave the song that no man can learn to the 144,000. All right, now they're on the highways and the byways, standing in great boldness in the face of those that troubled them. All right, now when they saw this great fear fell upon them. All right, now the devil, well, we'll read that next. It says, "And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them." All right, Revelation 12:12. "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he hath but a short time." How does he know he hath but a short time? Right? By looking at the prophecies and measuring the time diligently. What prophecies? All right, we just ran through a couple of them. The fact of the matter that the breath was being put back onto them, raising, spiritually raising the dead. They're going on the highways and the byways and preaching this here gospel into the 4 corners of the earth. All right, the destruction is being held back until all the elect receive this here wisdom and knowledge. All right, but then we can actually see, and as the elect was being, as how I say, the elect's out on the highway and the byway preaching to the rest of the elect. All right, things are still pretty much moving slow. All right, until you get, pretty much all of the elect to hear this here word, then things are going to start speeding up. Just if you can imagine, if there's 1 million people that's got to hear this, right? The elect, let's say it's 1 million of them, right? And then you got everybody, let's keep it with smaller numbers, 100, right? You got 100 people. Now, when you first got the first 2 people to hear, you know that the destruction is still far off, because it's like, yo, we've been out here for 10 years and we only got 2 people to come in. All right, so at this pace, we're going to be out here for a long time if we got to get 100 people to hear this here gospel, right? But now you on number 98, all right? You at 98 and you out there preaching, and you see that it's rolling a lot faster. You like, shit, you know, we at 98. Now it look like number 99 is rolling up on us. Now, as we still out here preaching, we're not going to be out here that much more longer. You know, the Lord's about to bring this here famine of the word. All right, once the famine of the word comes into place, that means that the gospel has been preached to the 4 corners of the earth. And then now what? The end can come. All right, those angels that's holding back the 4 winds of the earth, they can go ahead and let loose. All right, but you know, as Esau is looking at these things, all right, he's measuring the times diligently. That great fear is falling upon him, because why? He's seeing the elect being raised up. He's seeing that number being fulfilled. So what? Now that the devil is you know, taking into account of all these things, now he's about to start coming down with that great wrath. That destruction is about to start coming down, man. All right, we can see that the famine of the word is about to be coming around the corner. All right, Jacob's trouble is coming around the corner. The MOTB is right there at the door. All right, you know, Esau is about, and it's only going to leave Esau with one move left to do, is to go for that Hail Mary pass and start slaying everything, man. All right, so let me go back to this in Job, because I don't think I read it all the way through. Job 14:5, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So hey, you better believe that Esau understands and knows these things. He's like, well, shit, if that's going to be, matter of fact, Job 20:22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, all right, meaning he's about to get his so-called plan, his New World Order system that he's plotted out, fulfilled, all right, and we can measure that by looking at the MOTB, all right? We see how close he is to these things, man. All right, we see the type of draconian laws that he's pushing forth right now. We see how he's coming down with great wrath and making all these, changing all these laws and ordinance to work in his favor, man, to cause that craft to prosper, man. We see how all these things is coming down the pipeline, and we know that, look, man, the devil is about to come out swinging. All right. So reading that again, it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eaten. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. The glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. All right, so I just read the bottom of that, because it's showing you that it's linked up. When he's about to fill his belly, then the Most High is going to rain it down upon him. Rain what upon him? The thermonuclear destruction. All right, and what's going to happen in the midst of that thermonuclear destruction? We're going to be beamed up. That's how we can tell you how close we are to this here, you know, Jacob's trouble, which is going to come right before all these things, you know, right before the nukes come down, all right, where Esau is coming down with great wrath and just slaying utterly everything, all right, forcing his draconian law upon you to participate in his New World Order system, all right, and once he gets pretty much everybody to participate with those things, you know, let's say, for instance, like this medical experiment they got going on right now, right? They say that we have like 68-70% in America, everybody pretty much to participate. Now, if that was, you know, fully the MOTB and they were measuring it on that same scale, we were like, shit, we could be up out of here any day now, you know, at the rate that they go, and everybody pretty much already suited and booted and ready to go. So we know he's about to fill his belly. All right. So we know that, you know, this judgment is ripe and prompt for him to pretty much be taken out of his spot. All right. So continuing on, it says, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. So going back into these things, we know, you know, again, by putting prophecies with other prophecies, we can see how these things are going to all run together. All right. And so we know also that the fact of the matter of, let me see. Let me grab one more. We'll close out after this one. That's not what I wanted. This is Amos 8:11. It says, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst for water, but of hearing the word of Yahweh. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east. And they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. And that day shall the fair virgins and the young men faint for thirst. All right, so we know that there's going to be a famine of the word that's coming around the corner, right? And we see as these things are being played out about this medical misinformation or hate speech and all these different things that he's pushing out there, right? But we know that the famine of the word is a part of prophecy. Going back to Matthew 24:14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And after it's done, what do you think is going to happen? The Lord's going to bring in what? The famine of the word. And then what's going to happen with the famine of the word? The devil knows he has but a short time. He's going to come down with great wrath. Meaning what? He's going to bring in what? Jacob's trouble. And in Mr. Jacob's trouble, he's going to be trying to fulfill his New World Order agenda and his New World Order plan. All right, which is going to end in what? He's going to be so-called fleeing from that iron weapon, which is going to coincide with what? The deliverance of the elect, man. All right. It says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So again, going back to 2 Ezra 9:1, measure the time diligently in itself. All right. So we're measuring the times based off of, prophecy upon prophecy upon prophecy. All right. We can see how these latter prophecies are pretty much all linked one to another, and how they're all going to pretty much fall like a stack of dominoes. All right. One is going to turn into the other one, and the other one's going to turn into the other one. All right. So we see that we're pretty much right here at the door with all these things being pushed. And we know, ultimately that salvation is not, more or less to say. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and ever will. And citation and much love for you, Aki, in pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Till next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.